Hey mamas, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy that you're here to get your pictures filled. I am so excited because I feel like last night, or even a couple days ago, I felt like God was like, okay, you have to put out another video. And maybe it wasn't even God, maybe it was just me like wanting to hold myself accountable. And I was like, okay, God, like, what do I talk about? And a couple days ago, I tried to do a video and it was so hot in the car, and my phone kept heating up over and over again. And I was like, I know this is the message, like, why can't I do this? And a couple days ago, not even a couple days ago, I think this was yesterday, I was watching this video on TikTok and it said obedience over sacrifice. And I was thinking to myself, like, wow, like, what are you sacrificing? You're sacrificing being in a super hot car, having your phone like overheat, all these things. And I was just like, oh my gosh, okay, maybe this is one, not the message, and two, you don't have to sacrifice your own health, right? Being like super dehydrated in a car, that's not what God wants for me. So it was just so funny because I was like, okay, God, like, thank you so much for that revelation, because I feel like again, he's trying to say, be in your feminine flow, which brings me to what this video will be about. I'm going to be giving you 3 tips on how to get into your feminine flow and what you need to do sort of on like a daily, weekly basis of a check-in to make sure, like, hey, am I still in this feminine flow, or am I pushing myself back into my masculine? So let's get right into it. If you're new here, my name is Jamia Heslop. I'm the founder of For Mama to Be, a hospitality and wellness community looking to bless, encourage, and educate moms and fill their pictures so that they are not a hot pan. Welcome to our digital community, and I'm so happy you are here, because as a mom of 3 who has been in her masculine for the last 14 years, I have found that being in my feminine energy has not only helped me, but it has made me a better parent. It has made me a more loving woman to those who I surround myself with. And just in the last couple of months, it's been 6 months of me being on this feminine journey where I have learned so much from God and what he has been pouring into me. In January of this year, he said, this is going to be your your Queen Esther year. And I have fully embodied that over the last 6 months. So again, let's get into some really good tips on how you can get into your feminine energy if you may feel stuck or say, okay, what is even feminine energy and all these things. So one of the things that I want to disclose is I'm not a doctor or a therapist or anything like this. These are things that I've been doing over the last couple of months that have helped me to be, as I said, a better mom, and a mom more in her flow than just constantly yelling at your kids, constantly saying, okay, like, let's get this done so that we can get to sleep so we can start all over again, and not really make moments of like quality. That is really what stuck out for me. But 3 things to shift you into your feminine energy. So a couple of months back, in like February actually, I had gotten really sick with the flu, and I ended up watching this she was a meditation mentor on Facebook, and it was so random, but I was scrolling because I was sick, I was in bed, and I ended up watching this mentor who she focused on manifestation. And one of the things that I took away from her teaching was it was like a 3-page method. And one of the things that she was saying is you're going to need 3 pieces of paper, right? And and I'm going to sort of say like what I did, and then like how this works with like getting into your feminine flow. So one of the things that she talked about was getting 3 pieces of paper, right? So the first page of needs to be your like negative mindsets, right? And I would say negative and masculine. I think that sometimes we think that like, oh, this thought that I'm thinking is an original thought, when really it stems from something, right? So one of the things that she talked about was writing down all of your negative thoughts. And I would say masculine too, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But she said, write down all your negative thoughts. So some of my negative thoughts were, I'm not beautiful because I'm a Black woman. I'm not educated enough to have the life that I desire. Now that I am a mom of 3 kids with two baby daddies, there's no way that I'm going to be able to, find someone to, be in a family unit with. So these were some mindsets that I truly believed were mine. They originated from me. So once you write down all of the negative and then also masculine, right? With the masculine, it was like, I have to work my tail off in order to get the results that I want. To work your way up in the ladder, you have to show that you are, willing to put all of your, like, your family, yourself aside so that you can, get up on the corporate ladder. Unless you sacrifice your values, you will never be able to be in the place where you want to be. Those are more of like masculine values. Now, do all men or masculine energies feel this way? No. But sometimes in society, there's a gray area where these are looked at as, important, or that's how it is, right? Oh, that's just how it is, so that's how you have to do it. When really it's not, right? So that's the first page, the sort of the negatives, the things that you feel like, oh, like, as long as I'm pretty much, if you're thinking this way, this is your negative thoughts. And sorry, you guys, I'm going on a rampage. So on the second page, what you're going to write is, where do these mindsets stem from, right? And something that she talked about, which I thought was so beautiful and so pure, was when you come into this world, you are a pure blank slate, right? You're a beautiful whiteboard with nothing on it, or chalkboard if that's what you prefer, with nothing on it, right? And once you start, you meet your parents, you meet your friends, you start to grow, right? Your siblings, they will start to project either their fears or their thought processes onto you, right? So over the time that you are, like, from a baby till 7 years old, there are certain pillars of mindsets that are, stuck in your brainwave, saying like, this is how it is. And a perfect example of that is, like, think of a parent who's like, don't run with scissors, right? Well, sometimes that fear was never a fear that they actually experienced, right? They never actually saw anyone get hurt from, running with scissors, but their parents told them, and then their parents told them. And so it was just passed down from generation to generation. That's why they say you have generational curses, right? I call them generational fears. I think a curse is a little bit too much, but for whatever, however you want to say it, it's fine. At the end of the day, your generational fear is projected on you, and you carry it out through life, right? So the first page was the negative thoughts, masculine, the negative, like, probably wounded masculine thoughts. The second one is, what are, where do these thoughts stem from? Are they coming truly from you? Which they're probably not. But who said that, right? So for me, when it was like, oh, I'm not beautiful because I'm a Black woman. Well, that doesn't stem from me. That stems from certain projections of society, right? Certain movies, certain books, certain stories that say that, Black women are not beautiful, right? So that, I'll write that down. If it says, oh, well, since I'm not educated, I won't be able to have the best job or the best life. Okay, where did that stem from? Okay, that stemmed from a teacher that I had in high school who said, oh, since you aren't really good at math, you're never going to go anywhere, right? So you write all of those out. That's on the second page. Now on the third page, you're going to write out, so the second page, and this is what I loved about this activity. She said to take it and either rip it up, throw it away, burn it, whatever, because those are not yours to carry. None of those mindsets stem from you originally. None of those things were actually your perspective. It wasn't you being in the world either by yourself or with parents who understood, like, that projection, it can be, bad. They didn't, what was I going to say? So it wasn't an original thought. It wasn't something where you were in the world from 1 to 7 and said, okay, this is what I feel is what this is, right? This projection, or this whatever this thought is. So the second page, you're going to rip up and you're going to throw away, because those are not your thoughts. Those are someone else's thoughts, and you don't have to carry them, right? Whoever projected that on you, they are carrying that fear. You allow them to carry that fear. You don't have to, baby. That's not yours. So then the third thing you're going to write is, you're going to get a brand new piece of paper, and you're going to write those same thoughts from the first page. You're going to write, and you're going to honestly write out how you feel about these things. Okay, not being beautiful because I'm Black. Well, I think I am beautiful. I think I'm absolutely gorgeous, actually. And I think that I'm not just gorgeous on the outside. I know I'm gorgeous on the inside. I know that I'm kind. I know that I'm looking to do the best that I can with what I have and not blame anybody for my circumstances. I know that I am going to grow. Like if there's something I don't like about myself, I know I can grow from it. I don't have to stay this person. So these are the things that I find to be beautiful about myself, right? Same with being you're not going to be smart, so you won't have a beautiful life. Well, I have a beautiful life. I have people that are in my life that love me. I know that, again, that I have the opportunity to grow. As long as my brain is functioning properly, I know that I have an opportunity to grow and be a better person. Not just emotional intelligence, but knowledge. So these are all the mindsets that you can shift to have, so that you're like, oh, wait, I don't have to keep this mindset that's been given to you. A lot of times, those projections of fears and stuff, they have been given to you, but they're not yours to carry, right? There are some gifts that people give you that you can return to sender, right? I personally don't want to have that. And you need to do that. So that really has helped me with my feminine journey, because when I realize I'm not carrying all of these fears and masculine system mindsets on my shoulders, and find that there are new ways to either make money, live my life, enjoy my children, discipline my children. Wow, that one was like a mind-blowing epiphany when that came. But when you realize those things, you're saying to yourself, I don't have to take those on. I can live a soft life. I can breathe. I can be. Oh my gosh, I love this so much. Thank you, God. Thank you so much for this download. I can be okay and take time to make a decision on how I will raise my children, or how I will discipline my children, not just use old ways that, may or may not have worked, right? Or projected fear so that my children will listen. So that I just think is so beautiful, that technique of the 3 papers, right? The second thing that I wanted to talk about is the old you and the new you. And this one is a little bit difficult because sometimes, as I said before, you'll have so many mindsets that have been drilled into you for such a long time, or that you have believed, right? Because a lot of so 80% of your thoughts from yesterday are coming with you today. Only 20% of them are new, unless you are being intentional about them. And this is a beautiful thing, because I think they said even like 10 years ago, and I'm sure there are people who had knowledge of this, but what they're saying is that society is believing, and the community collective is believing, oh wait, we can change our mindsets, right? There's a saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Yeah, you probably can't. But if you are being intentional at any age, you can do great things, right? I think also too, it's the trick of the devil to keep us in a box, right? And keep us hopeless. How many times does the devil say lies to us to keep us hopeless? To keep us saying, oh, I can't do this because I'm 50. I can't have a child because I'm now 50, 60, whatever, right? And then we hear stories, right? That little belief, I told you guys in my first video, you have to keep your eyes open for the little God wings that are going to build your belief. That's why they're there. That's why testimonies are there. That's why God wants us to share our stories with each other. Because if I'm a woman and I'm 50 years old and I really want a baby, and I'm like, oh, all I want is to have a child, but for some reason, I'm like, it's not for me, right? My doctor's saying it. Women are around me are saying it, right? You're going to start to be hopeless. But if you think to yourself, oh, wait, Janet Jackson had a baby at 50 and her baby's fine, I can do that. Now, maybe you don't have the same resources as Janet Jackson, but you could look it up on Google and find several women who have had babies at 50, even 60. You just have to, again, be looking for that belief, looking for that God wing. So that's just something to think about. With that being said, old you, new you. So the old you is going to have a lot of that 80%, right? That 80% of what you were thinking of yesterday. And what you need to do is switch it so that that 80% is now the new things that you're starting to think of yourself. Now, this I learned about on TikTok, and I absolutely love it. It's a little bit different how this woman taught it, but I'm teaching it in the sense of this is what you can do to start plugging away at some of these negative thoughts, but also to getting to the new you. If you've sat with yourself and you're like, man, I'm in my masculine all the time, I'm always doing, I'm never getting enough rest, I'm never getting time for myself, I'm always doing for my kids, doing for my husband, doing for my employer, doing for my friends, people pleasing, you need to start to sit with yourself and say, like, why is that, right? Why am I constantly like really seeking approval, seeking validation? And I don't mean to throw you under the bus, honey, but this is something I used to do forever. And I know a lot of it stems from me being a middle child. I know it stems from wanting to be seen. Also, too, not thinking that I was beautiful because I was a Black girl in a predominant white state. I constantly was told, like, unless I had my hair straight, had my face look a certain way in the sense of makeup, dress nice, had my hair done, I think I already said that, I was not going to be perceived as this beautiful woman. It wasn't until I got older that I was like, wow, Jamia, like, you have beautiful features, you have a beautiful body, you have a beautiful demeanor about yourself. Like, stop hating yourself because of, again, thoughts that were given to me that were not mine. So, old you, new you, on a piece of paper. And I know you guys are like, oh my gosh, girl, we're going to be using up this journal. And you will be. You need to have a journal at all times of your life because you need to have something to look back on. And I hope you've been scripting, girl, because I've been scripting, and girl, it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It keeps getting better and better. Girl, bigger and bigger. What is God trying to say to me? All of that to say, on one piece of paper, you need to write out the old you, right? And this is easy for me because a nickname that my good friend gave me when I was in high school was Mia. And it was funny because in my 20s, I actually would joke around and say, yeah, my name is Mia because I was always missing in action. And it was just because I was dealing with so much shame from having a baby. And it wasn't even a young age. I know people have their children in their teens. I had my son when I was 21 years old, and it was an unplanned pregnancy. I knew that I wanted to be with his dad, and I thought that us, having our son, I was thinking, oh, he's going to marry me, he's going to do all this stuff. It was not the case. So on my old life, in my old mindset about who I was, Mia really sat well with me because I was missing in action, whether that be in my social life or in my working life, because there was a lot of shame. But on top of that, I was missing out on myself. I didn't even take pride in my name, which means so much in so many different cultures, which that's, again, a story for a different time. But one of the things that I really loved about this like nickname, it's just sort of like Beyonce. You know how she has Sasha Fierce? I was able to put all of these old mindsets and old ways onto Mia, not Jamia, right? So on one page, on the old me, it would say Mia. On the new one, it was Jamia, right? So the old me, people pleaser, saying yes to everything, wasting my time working at jobs that do not appreciate me, making barely any good money, being scared to parent without their fathers, thinking I needed a man in order to parent and to be this pillar in my children's life, not being able to cook, doesn't work out, wants a handout every chance she gets, really giving princess treatment, and not princess treatment in like the cute romantic way, but like really like spoiled and like, oh, poor me, victim, oh my gosh, thank you so much, victimized, all that stuff. That was the Mia, right? The old me. Now, what is this new me, right? Jamia, she's, in a lot of ways, she's independent, not in the sense that she's not open to receiving, but if someone wants to give her stuff, she's open to receiving. If she can't, or if she doesn't receive an opportunity to receive, she's still going to go ahead and, trust that God is going to put the best opportunities, the best, connections in her way to receive the things that she desires. Another thing is, she's confident, right? She's confident in who she is and who she's becoming. She's loving. She has a growth mindset. She's not constantly looking to be the victim, but the victor. She loves lavish things and she's okay with that. All of these things you want to put on this new person, right? Now, say you don't have a nickname, right? Just say the old and then put your name, right? And this is why I'm saying to do all of this, right? And maybe I'll go with a third step and then I'll like retrace back, because this video is getting a little bit longer now. And I know you guys are probably like, this is a long rant, but this hit me last night and I was like, wow, this is so good. And this stuff really helped me. So I was just like, wow, like I really want to share this with you guys. But one of the things that really helps with this is when you go to script, you already scripted your dream life, right? When I've told you guys in videos previous to this that when you've scripted your life, it's easy when opportunities come what to say yes to, what to say no to, right? When you have the old you and the new you, when opportunities or conversations or events happen where you have to make a decision for yourself, it's so easy. When, perfect example, I wasn't seeing this guy, but I had this encounter with this gentleman that was going really well until I found out that he was married. He was actually going through a separation. Now, I had been going through a separation for 4 years. March was my final divorce. We got the red seal and we are fully divorced. At that point in time, I felt comfortable just talking with men or connecting with men, where before I was like, nope, if I made a covenant, I'm not going to talk with anyone. I'm not going to do anything that's going to cause me to disrupt this covenant, right? So when I found out that he was going through a separation, I told him, I said, I don't feel comfortable talking with a man who is going through a separation, especially because you don't know what that's going to look like, right? The reason why I never talked with anyone or did anything with anyone was because I said, if God is leaving this open or taking 4 years for us to go through our divorce, because for any reason my husband wants to go through what he's going through and come back and want to be together, I'm going to make sure I'm not doing anything physically, mentally, spiritually that's going to cause that disruption, right? So I said the same thing to this gentleman. I was like, you know what, you're to keep our integrity and to keep you of a man of integrity, I'd rather not speak with you, because there are some things that you obviously have to finish and go through before moving into this next chapter, whatever that looks like. And in that point in my life, in that moment, I was so happy, because I know the new Jamia, the Jamia that I am now becoming, respected that answer, right? Where the old Jamia, maybe not, I don't really know. I've never really dealt with married men before, that experience, so I don't really know. But I know that the new Jamia respected that, even though it was hard. A part of me was like, man, I really liked him. The time we did hang out, it was so sweet. We had such a great connection. But I was like, one, if it's not mine, I don't want it. That's the first thing. The second thing is you have to respect this new person you're becoming, because that's how that person strengthens their identity within you, right? If I sat there and was just like, oh, it doesn't matter, and I'm just going to do whatever I want, and just sort of like rush into it, I probably would not have been happy with that result. So I felt really blessed that I made the decision for myself, saying, hey, you're not going to do this. New Jamia does not do that, right? Mia maybe, but not Jamia. So it makes it very easy to say old Jamia would not eat dairy because it messes up with her skin. Old Jamia would not entertain men who are either separated or in a marriage. Old Jamia would not stay up past 10 o'clock because she knows that her sleep means everything to her. Old Jamia is going to drop onto any opportunity that's going to move her closer to the things that she scripted and the vision that God has given her. So when you have that it's very easy. And start talking to yourself that way. Oh, old Jamia may do that, but new Jamia isn't for that. Oh, you know what, new Jamia, she probably doesn't like this. And don't say that out loud, right? You don't want people to think you're crazy, but you know, maybe you need to. Maybe you need to start talking in the third person so that they understand you are so in tune with yourself. You're not going to allow their words or their actions to mess up what you got going for yourself. Okay, so let's get into the last one because it's getting really long now. And I want this video to be at least 30 minutes, not anything longer than that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is my favorite part. So the third tip is, who inspires you? Now, I have Pinterest. If you have Pinterest, this is like the perfect thing to use your Pinterest for. And there's some other things too. I may have to make, you guys, there's all these videos. So the third one is my favorite one because of this. Who inspires you? Okay, so a lot of times we go for inspiration from people in our circle, but sometimes that is not enough, right? Also, too, you may be transferring from your old self to your new self, and your old friends, your old mindsets, they probably can't help you with this new foundation that you're trying to create, right? So, you know, obviously go to God. God is going to be the best person to help you build the foundation for this new person, right? He will give you insights, revelations, things of that nature. So definitely go into the word and get inspired that way. But another thing that you can do, which I absolutely love, and again, I did this on my Pinterest, is I would go onto my Pinterest and I would look up Princess Jasmine, Minnie Mouse, and Sailor Moon. Now, if you don't know who these characters are, you can go look them up. They're absolutely amazing. I'm pretty sure everyone knows who these three characters are, but if not, just do your research. So for me, Princess Jasmine, she was a sultan's daughter, right? And as a born-again believer, I truly believe I am, my father is the king of all kings. He's the highest of the high. And Jasmine was the perfect example of this because her father was a sultan. She went out into the streets, and even though she was like hiding herself, she still walked with this princess queen, like, I'm that girl, because she knew she was from birth. She knew she was. She didn't have to be afraid. She didn't have to be scared because she knew, oh, that, you know, my father is the sultan. And even when she got caught, she was like, oh, don't worry about it, baby. My dad is the sultan. We can get this figured out and cleared up. And what happened? When she acted like that, everyone's like, oh, she is the princess. We need to act accordingly. We need to, you know our place. So we have to walk in, or wait, that's not the point. So Jasmine was a really good example of what to embody for this new Jamia, right? I wanted to be a woman who not only respected herself, but thought highly of herself, whether she was in her room or out and about. I wanted to think highly of myself. To do that, you have to sort of embody or take inspiration from somewhere. And for me, it was Princess Jasmine. For Minnie Mouse has her own pet house, a really cute dog, which she has a long-haired Dachshund, which is my dream dog. I absolutely love that. She has her own business. And even with Mickey, we all know Mickey's making good money. He's got his own house. You know, he's doing his thing. But with her being married to Mickey, she still has her own house. She still has her own business, and she still has her own friends. She still has her own life, if that makes sense. I fell into the trap at a very young age that whatever man I wanted to be with or was with, I had to remove all of the things that I desired to be with this person. And that is so toxic. Minnie inspired me to know that even if I get my Mickey, or when I get my Mickey, because I'm getting my Mickey, baby. When I get my Mickey, I don't have to stop the way that I'm living my life to be with Mickey. And Mickey is going to be a beautiful representation of what I've already built. So I don't even have to worry about that, right? If you look at Mickey and Minnie Mouse, you know, they are their own people coming together in love to not only enjoy life, but to inspire and to encourage other people to do that same thing, to love their life, to live their best life. Think of Mickey Mouse with Donald Duck. I don't think Donald Duck, it is Donald Duck. I think it's Donald Duck. I know that there's two ducks. No, that's Daffy Duck. Okay, so Donald Duck, right? He's always trying to encourage him, even though he's like a negative Nancy and all this stuff. But Mickey's like, nah, boy, we about to go out. We're going to go get hot dogs. We're going to go live our best life. We're going to go get goofy. We're about to go live our best life. I always love that about Mickey because, again, I want a man who is an encourager. I want a man who looks on the bright side, who trusts God, who knows that God has a plan for his life and a vision. I think that that really, you know, with Minnie looking for a man who also brought that, she already had that within her, but she was able to attract Mickey, who was that too. I think that that's important. I'm getting off on a tangent though about relationships, and there's actually a video I want to do about like how you know, like if your guy is your you know, your God ordained guy, you know, and some of the qualities of what that looks like. Anyways, let's get into it. Oh, Sailor Moon. Okay, so this is my last tip, and I'm gonna try to wrap this up, you guys. I'm so sorry. So one of the things that I really love about Sailor Moon was she was never perfect. The one thing that I really loved was from the first episode until pretty much like the second or third season, Sailor Moon, Serena, was constantly not the perfect moon princess. And the only person who gave her a hard time about that was the Sailor Scout Mars. She constantly was like, look, she eats all the time. She's lazy. She doesn't have good grades. She's always sleeping. She's eating all this candy. She's not fit. She's not all these things, right? And she was constantly like, you're not fit to be this moon princess that we're supposed to protect and all this stuff. And Serena never, she would cry about it, right? She would always be like, man, like, that sucks to hear those things, right? But one of the things that I loved about her was that she never allowed it to stop her from her purpose. She never said, well, since she said, I'm not this moon princess, or I don't have the qualities, I'm just going to quit before I even begin. No, she kept showing up. And was she still perfect? No. There were times in third seasons, she was still falling asleep. She still wasn't getting good grades. She was still eating, you know, everything in front of her. And I love that. You don't have to be perfect, right? But it never took away that she was still the moon princess. It never took away. It didn't matter. It didn't matter what anyone said. She was still the moon princess. No one could take that away from her. And she, giving herself grace, allowed herself, okay, I may not have these qualities that this girl is saying that I need to have, but one, I am the moon princess. You know what I mean? Luna told me that. Tuxedo Mask told me that. Sailor V told me that. Entities that I don't know about, they told me that, and that's all that matters. So with that being said, because I'm going to wrap up, you guys, with that being said, these three tips, why they're important to me and why I feel they can help you is this. You need to find a way to get into your feminine energy through taking the old you, right? Maybe the masculine you that was rough on yourself, didn't give yourself grace, was constantly in this doing mode, constantly having to prove yourself or validate, who you are. Those things will not happen overnight. You slowly and surely have to start chipping away at not only your old mindset, your old ways, your old habits, and just your old environments. You have to put yourself in you have to shift, you have to pivot, as Keke Palmer says. And in order to do that, if you write these things out, you can start helping yourself get to a place where you're like, dang, you know what? I'm not this old person anymore. I can be soft. I can have honest conversations with my kids on why I may not think the way I used to, or why I'm acting the way that that they're probably not even used to, because